Good afternoon, customers of Knowhere Games and Comics. It's me, Matthias, and the wonderful Richard Robello here to talk about all the amazing comics that are coming up on Final Order Cutoff this Monday.
How's it going? I have nothing to say. Sorry.
So if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to do what I always do and explain what Final Order Cutoff is, because Final Order Cutoff is something we as comic retailers do every Monday. It is our last chance to adjust the orders on select comic publishers' offerings 3 weeks in advance. That means this Monday, I'm going to be adjusting the final numbers for comics that will be coming out in 3 weeks, October 23rd, that wonderful Wednesday right before Halloween. And it is the perfect time for you guys watching to finalize any orders you might have. That way I can not only guarantee you whatever comics you want, I can guarantee you specific covers and whatever quantities you want. You can find out all of the comics that are on Final Order Cutoff this Monday at previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. So make sure you check out that website. We will make sure to have the URL in the comments after the live video is done. But once again, you can check it out at previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. George might even be so kind as to drop that link in the URL or that URL in the comment section while we're doing this live. One other thing before we get into all the amazing comics that are going to be coming out in 3 weeks, I want to point out Marked is a new comic that will be coming out in just 2 weeks. This will be coming out on October 16th, and on October 19th, we're going to have the creator, Brian Haberlin, here signing. Brian is an amazing comic creator. He is a writer, artist, and man of many, many talents, as well as he is the co-creator of Marked and the artist on this. We've had Brian in the store before. He is absolutely amazing. Yes, he will be signing your Spawn 300s if you bring those in, probably even your 301s. I mean, you had a chance to meet Brian. What was your take?
Fantastic guy, really nice. He'll sign whatever you bring in. He was signing my first, what was it? Was it Witchblade?
Yeah, he signed your Witchblade.
My first Witchblade I brought in, and back issues and things like that. He'll talk to you, answer all your questions. Really kind, nice guy. Got him to do a couple sketches as well on the Sonata books. That was a lot of fun. So definitely make sure you come in and don't miss it.
Yeah, he is a great guy. So with that, I think we're going to start going over some of the comics. If there's any of these comics that you specifically want, you can always call us. You can swing by the store and write your name on the special order or pull list adjustment sheets. You can email us at knowheregamesandcomics@gmail.com, Facebook us because you're obviously on Facebook, or even leave a comment in the comments below saying any specific thing you would like to order. Tell us the cover, tell us the quantity. We're happy to take care of you on that. Yeah, and then remember, our final order cutoffs are due by 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday, so try and get it in before that, ideally before 8 p.m. at the latest.
I do highly recommend doing that, getting in and stuff, so that way you don't miss it. I make sure I update my orders with Matthias every Monday before the store closes or before his orders have to be in. And that just guarantees you get exactly what you want. Don't have to be rushing around. You don't have to come in on even a new comic book day Wednesday. Pick it up over the weekend, so it makes it a lot easier.
We'll have everything waiting for you on that. All right. So on that note, let's start off. We're viewing the same website that you guys would at this moment, previewsworld.com/finalordersdue, which thank you, George, for having thrown that in the comment section. If anybody who is watching along, you're free to click that link and you can read right along with us. And at some point, we're going to upgrade technology enough that you'll get the actual picture of these covers as we're seeing it.
We've been working on it. Before we begin, do you want to mention anything about the local comic book day?
Yeah, sure. So there is a bit of an odd one here that you guys will likely see if you check the website. Local Comic Shop Day is something we've been participating in since its start. It is a great day that happens normally around Black Friday. It is where we try and support you coming into your local comic shop. Much like local record store day, the idea is we're going to have something special for you. Aside from sales and signings and other fun events, which we're going to have some really cool news on soon, we actually are going to have exclusive comics that are exclusive variants, rare items. In several cases, we're actually going to have comics that are literally exclusive to this day, and thankfully, we are a participating store. Now, that being said, when you look at Previews World, you're going to see all these. Some of these are highly limited. They're going to be one per store items, so they are going to go for a little bit of a price. More than likely, what we've done in the past is we tend to do a silent auction for them. I think that's what we'll end up doing this year, but I can't guarantee, say, if you wanted the Marauders exclusive local comic shop day variant, that I can get everyone a copy. Yeah, so check back. I'm going to try and maximize as many of those as possible, but we will mention on this live stream the ones that are going to be open to order, so you can make sure you can get your order in and make sure you can get one of those.
Definitely. All right, let's get going because there's a lot of books to cover.
All right. So mind you, we're not going to talk about every single one. We're going to try to bring the highlights to you. So we're going to start with Boom Studios. Remember, you can check all this at Final Orders Due's website, which is previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. You're all going to be sick of me saying that URL by the end of this. And you can see every single thing there. But we're going to start off with Angel over at Boom. I love the Angel series is the reason I bring it up. It's now going to be crossing over with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the big new event book that crosses both of those books over, Hellmouth, as the Hellmouth finally opens in Sunnydale, the hometown of Buffy. And Angel is going to be the first part of that. There are some amazing covers you're definitely going to want. If you're ever a fan of the puppet episode of Angel where he turned into a puppet, yes, that is a variant. It's going to be about a $20 variant, but if you want it, please bring it to my attention. We'll make sure you get it. There's also a hardcover that collects the Angel, the first 6 issues or 5 issues of Angel from Boom Studios. You can go ahead and place your orders on that now too. You know, we of course still have all first printings, so if you need those are available. Actually, you wanna take on that one? Yeah, I mean, this is one we're only gonna probably be getting 1 or 2 of, but.
So to be totally fair, I don't know much about this blind box, but it is part of the local comic book store day. It is from Boom Studios. They've packaged together a Power Rangers blind box. So apparently they've done this in the past.
This will be the 3rd one.
I've seen people talking about it online. If you're familiar with blind boxes, you basically what they are is you get in a package deal and you don't know exactly what's going to be in it. It could be exclusive variants. It could be limited print runs of something that they've done in the past, maybe like a very important issue. You would have to just get the box to find out. It's very interesting that they're doing it. I didn't know they'd done it in the past, so this definitely jumped out to me, even though I'm not a collector of the Power Rangers. Did you have any insight into that?
Yeah, so in the past, they've always been great. They're amazingly great sellers. If you're a fan, the Power Rangers comics at Boom are incredible. They take place with the first generation of the American Power Rangers and give us all sorts of cool stories that, you know, were the stuff that you always wanted, with like Tommy the Green Ranger going evil and, you know, all sorts of crazy stuff, him actually dating Kimberly. So each year they put out one of these boxes and you're guaranteed a hardcover of all the Power Ranger comics of the past year, which is normally around 2 storylines. This one's really, really cool because this one's going to have the Shattered Grid stuff, which was the huge Power Ranger event. Inside, aside from getting the Shattered Grid hardcover, you're also going to get Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 42, an exclusive local comic shop day variant, only available in this box. And you're going to get 2 random Power Rangers or Go-Go Power Ranger variants from the past. They could be rare ratio variants, convention exclusive variants, signed, who knows, like all sorts of amazing options there. And I guarantee you it's going to be money because like these Power Ranger things, if you're not already a Power Ranger collector, there are intense Power Ranger collectors out there that must have every single thing.
How much so not how much, but how many per shop are those?
I don't believe this one is ultra. I mean, this one is not limited per shop, but it is a very finite number that are created. So we're going to try and get a couple, but you know, if you get your name down, I will do my best to make sure you get one. We might have to limit it, so first come, first serve. So get your comments in now. So moving on with Boom, big one.
Something's Killing the Children, number 2. This is a second printing, but if you haven't caught up yet, we still have some on the shelf, the first printing?
We're working on
getting
printing, we're going to be getting some more printing in. Actually, I believe it might be in the mailbox right now. I'll have to check right after this live stream.
It's a great way to catch up on the story. It's a lot of fun to read. It's about monster killing children in a small town, and Erica Slaughter is the main character. She's like basically a monster hunter for hire. Great horror story, a lot of fun to read, and these books from Boom Studios are just knocking it out of the park. They're very hard to come by. And
they're selling out,
quickly becoming collector's items. So if you want to read a great book or collect a great book, get in on this. Even the second and third printings, they go fast. So make sure that if you want one, hit up Matthias, make sure your name's on the list so you don't have to just try to find it on the shelf.
Yeah, and mind you, the first printing of number 2 hasn't come out. I believe that comes out this week. The reason why we're stressing this is those later printings have actually gone up in value to sometimes be more valuable than the first printings. They are so rare and underprinted. Because somebody like me, I haven't gotten our first printings yet. Why should I order the second printings? Because we haven't obviously sold out. That's the reason why they're underprinted. So make sure you place those orders if you want it. That's what helps dictate to me how many I need to order when we haven't even sold out of the first print yet.
I did hear somewhere that this one might be, because it's still going to be a limited number, it might actually even end up being allocated. So
it more than likely will be.
Definitely get in your requests. I guess that doesn't guarantee that he's going to get in enough books, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Definitely.
Yeah. So moving on, let's dive into Dark Horse, which has some interesting ones coming up this time. The big one, the local comic shop day, Hazel and Cha-Cha Save Christmas. If you've read Umbrella Academy Dallas, which was the second Umbrella Academy, or you watched the amazing Netflix series, you know who Hazel and Cha-Cha are. They're time-traveling assassins. And in this fun standalone story, they are going to be out trying to assassinate somebody who's basically trying to put an end to Christmas. I mean, what better a story as we get into the holiday season?
Definitely picking this one up. This is one of the open orders, so it should be easy to get as long as you definitely get in your request. One thing I don't think Matthias mentioned is the local comic book shop day is something that the online retailers are not going to have access to. So that is very important to come into your local comic book store, come into Knowhere, request it, and make sure you come back to pick it up when it comes in, because you won't be able to get these from these big retailers online, which is really cool because those retailers, they saturate the market. And nothing against them, because if you live somewhere where you don't have a local comic book shop, that's a great way to go. And they do some amazing variants, but this is something that is giving back to the local businesses to keep them going. And you should always give your local business and local comic book store, shop a shot at earning your business first, in my opinion. But
always appreciate that, man. You're the new Damian Wassel in that. I said his last name right. Yeah.
Wassel?
Well, yeah. And by the way, if you're watching this live stream and don't have a local comic shop, please feel free to message us. We're happy to ship wherever we can in the world. Shipping could be a little pricey if you're in Tanzania or something along those lines, but we're happy to get things out to you. I also want to point out that if you're not aware, the local comic shop day cover of Hazel and Cha-Cha Save Christmas is Bill Sienkiewicz. You can't go wrong with Bill Sienkiewicz. He's a hot artist. And then the other big thing on local comic shop day is you have to be a brick and mortar store to have local comic shop day. B, you need to either be a Comics Pro member, which is the great comics professional retailer organization, or you need to sign up with Comics Pro to do a local comic shop day. So very few stores are realistically going to be doing it. I would say probably less than 500 worldwide. So just to give you a hint, we're kind of one of the lucky ones that are able to host these and have these variants. So make sure you get these in, because these are going to be hot items.
And that said, just to kind of add to that, if you are not in the area and but you're watching online and you want to find out who in your area might be carrying it, the website will have, October 3rd? I think they have to list everyone.
Yes.
It's coming up soon. They'll have every store that's participating, so you know where to find the comic books that you're looking for. Yeah,
support your local shop. Even if your local shop isn't us, we are all about that. We love the retailer community. So moving on, another big one that's coming out, Count Crowley, Reluctant Monster Hunter. This one has B horror movie written all over it.
I love B horror movies. This is my jam. I absolutely love B horror movies. The worse, the better.
Then when because I feel like from this listation, you're like, man, this is like horrible.
It looks so horrible. I can't wait to read it. That said, actually, what really caught my attention is they did a YouTube video trailer for this. I was so confused by it that I had to read the solicit. It kind of reminds me of a modern twist on Crypt Keeper, I guess.
Like a bad Vampirella.
Bad Vampirella.
Who's the one they have in the Midwest? The old film horror dude. I can never remember.
I don't know. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, DC is about to actually have a comic where it's like the Justice League meetup.
But basically, it's about a TV station, small town TV station, and the host. And she is hosting a bunch of B movies on the TV network. And it turns out that how do you put it?
Because I don't want to give host, away. Mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, and so she's got a lot more horror in live life than just on what she's, putting out onto the TV. The first issue, I guess, she comes face to face with a werewolf. So,
well, is it a werewolf? Because this gal is quite the alcoholic. She might have just had a drunken hallucination.
Could just be a bad Uber.
Yeah. So make sure you grab this comic so you can find out that answer or be just as equally confused.
Is she drinking Jim Beam?
Yeah, she is drinking Jim Beam on the cover of that comic.
That's her first problem.
Yeah, well, I don't know, sitting in an electric chair, behind a werewolf.
That's problem number 2.
So yeah, that one looks like it's going to be a funny B movie type of thing. It's written by David Dasmalshane, and Lucas Kettner is the artist on that. I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's going to be kind of cool. I was amused by the the very B live action trailer that they gave us. We'll make sure to link it in the comments below. It's back on the Knowhere page if you go back a little bit, but it's a fun one. So please get your orders in if that's something that interests you, because that's going to help me decide heavily on how much to order, because I don't know if I have a huge crowd for B horror movies.
And if you like Jim Beam, don't write comments. I was just joking around. I love Jim Beam, but she could be drinking the Black Label instead.
You don't know that's just not some poor Kentucky version of Johnny Walker Blue Label. But moving on to DC, a ton of things are coming out from DC. Once again, we're not going to name them all. We're going to kind of highlight the big deal ones. And the big deal one that I believe wants to be highlighted on by Richard over here is
Batman Curse of the White Knight #4. This is done by Sean Murphy. This is the follow-up to the first series that he did of the White Knight. In the last issue, we had that big showdown or confrontation between Harley and the Joker, which was hysterical. I
like it. Hysterical is your choice of words for that coat hanger.
I still am laughing. There was a death in the issue. Yeah. There's a lot of action going on in this. This is a great series. If you're not reading it, definitely try to pick up the first couple of issues, get in before it's too late. It's an 8-parter, so this will be in the middle of that series run, and it's got 2 amazing covers. 2 amazing covers.
Batgirl on one, Alfred with a sword on the other.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the quality of this is fantastic. It's a Black Label book. It's high quality. It is the size of a comic book, unlike their premiere series. But the artwork inside is insane. The paper quality is really high end. It's a great book to get.
And I mean, and it's a testament to how great Sean Murphy as a creator is. I mean, not only is he writing it and drawing it, he did both of the amazing covers. Both freaking, I'm telling you outright, I'm buying both covers on this one.
I can't decide, so I was going to get both myself.
Yeah. Dude, Alfred with a rapier.
Oh. It's awesome. The cover's insane.
Yeah, and once again, if you haven't seen it already, go to previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. You can see the covers. Oh, you're going to end up getting both covers. I feel everyone's going to be getting 2 copies of this book. But if you want to make sure I order enough, make sure you request both covers right now. Pop it in the comments. Other big ones we got. I mean, I don't need to bring up Batman, Superman. There's never a reason. You guys should all be reading it. It is the follow-up to Dark Knight's Metal. It's the follow-up to Batman Who Laughs. It's amazing. But I'm going to bring it up because you guys all need to add it to your pull. If you, for some reason, are buying this off the wall and don't have it on your pull list, get the 10% off. Get it on your pull list. Get this comic. It's amazing. There's multiple covers you can choose. Batman Who Laughs, Batman Superman #3 coming out in 3 weeks. You're going to want it.
And also, why risk it? Why risk coming in and having the shelf cleared out before you get here?
Every issue, I fear we get closer and closer to that.
Well, we do those Wednesdays. I come in later in the day after I've gone home and read the book so I can talk about them. I come back in and the shelves are barren, and I'm like, someone's pulled every single book I've read. I have nothing to contribute to tonight.
And we don't start out that way, mind you. I have to thank every single one of you who watches this, that waits in that big line every Wednesday morning to come in there, which blows my mind, because in 20 years of doing this, I'm not used to seeing a line every Wednesday morning, and I appreciate it so much. But we get rated. As much as I order, and I think I order a lot, we get rated Wednesday morning. So I thank you all for doing that. But that's all the more reason why I would like to make it so it's easier. You don't have to wait in that hot line at noon. You can just walk in calmly and pick up the comics that you wanted because you told me, and I set them aside waiting for you.
Speaking of that issue, the next one that we got for you is actually the Black Adam, You're the Villain #1. This spins right out of the Batman Superman book that we were just talking about. This is Shazam infected by the Batman Who Laughs, going into the Black Adam's kingdom, and you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I mean, barely 2 issues in, this is right after Batman Superman 2, which you need to read. We have to deal with the infected Shazam, my Captain Marvel, going against his biggest threat, Black Adam, without any of the heroic tones that we would normally expect. So it is the 2 strongest, most violent, imaginable heroes of the DC universe, anti-heroes, villains, whatever you want to call them. going blow to blow. I'm super hyped about this. Paul Jenkins, good friend, is writing this. Inanki Miranda, I'm not familiar with him, is doing the art. You get a crazy John Romita Jr. Klaus Johnson cover for some odd reason. Looks very, I don't know, I would almost call that like, well, I mean, I guess you obviously have to know his Superman Year One, but it kind of reminds me of like the old like Daredevil, comics that, John and Klaus used to do.
I was going to say it almost reminds me of Rob Liefeld's artwork.
I mean, I'm sure, Rob would be ultra complimented by that.
Well,
someone has to be.
He can draw better feet than this guy drew legs.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that being said, it's just the cover, but I'm super hyped about this. I mean, especially as we get closer and closer to the possibility of The Rock playing, Black Adam's one of the coolest villains in the world. I mean, ruler of an entire kingdom, an ancient pharaoh-esque hero of pre-modern historics in the DC universe. I mean, Black Adam is one of the coolest characters as far as I'm concerned. Perhaps it's the same receding hairline, but yeah, no, I'm super hyped about this. And Paul Jenkins writing them,
I'm actually shocked that they're overlapping the stories. It's insane that they're doing that. Obviously, DC has that much faith in this book. They know people are reading it. People are going to get them and keep going instead of just running. When that first Batman Superman runs out, then pick up on this one. But that said, they have faith in it because it's that good.
Yeah, and here's the big question: what's going to happen when Billy Batson, Shazam, goes up against Black Adam? And not that I would ever imagine he could beat Black Adam, but I'm going to have to give it just because is Billy Batson going to take over Kondak? Like, is he going to take that kingdom of the Middle East? It could be intense. We'll see. That would be a particularly villainous Year of the Villain type of thing. But Black Adam's good friends with Lex Luthor, so is Lex Luthor going to back him? It's hard to say.
So who's the villain in this?
I don't know. It's a good question.
That's weird.
Yeah, that becomes the question. Moving on, Detective Comics I want to briefly bring up because we're getting deep into this amazing storyline. I know there's a ton of you already reading Detective Comics, but if you're not, now's the time to hop on. Peter Tomasi is creating a great story with the idea of Mr. Freeze finally unfreezing his wife. And like, that's a story I never thought, in all honesty, in all of comics I'd get. That'd be up there with like the resurrection of Uncle Ben in Amazing Spider-Man, but it's happening and it's intense, and it looks like it happens in this issue number 1014. Yeah. So yeah, Richard came out
opening multiple things.
Yeah, he's just piling that open. So anyway, Richard's going to talk about one of his favorite things ever, the affordable comics.
I'm cheap, apparently. No, it's not that I'm cheap. I spend plenty of money on the new books, but the dollar comic books. I'm so glad that DC's doing following suit with from Marvel, and some of the other studios production publishers. I'm thinking
it's
not
movies. Always movies, yeah.
Movies.
Yeah, save for that for the Marvel part.
They've always done the dollar books, but now they're delving into the really big key books and reprinting them for only $1. This one for DC on the order is Swamp Thing #1, done by Len Wein.
Yeah.
Sorry, terrible at pronouncing things. Anyway,
I only know because he's
don't really need to get too much into it. If you're a fan of Swamp Thing, you know what you know.
I'm gonna pause you right there. I mean, as much as I love Len Wein, and don't get me wrong, rest in peace, may he be. He was one of the greatest writers and editors at both DC and Marvel. Bernie Wrightson did the art on this. This is Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing. This is like, this still haunts my nightmares reading, like Bernie Wrightson stuff as a kid. He is a brilliant horror artist.
And it's only 80 cents more than the original.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely never going to beat
80
that.
cents.
Yeah.
It's inflation.
No, I mean, are you kidding? If you had that Swamp Thing #1 now, you'd probably be asking about 5 figures for that. Almost.
Definitely. But this is a great way to read it, on the cheap.
Yeah.
Get a couple copies.
Yeah.
Take it to work, leave it at work. We'll leave one on your coffee
table. Give your
table.
friends in the comics.
Leave one in the restroom for your guests.
Scare the crap out of your children.
There you go. Yeah. They need good horror in their life.
Yeah. So what else do we have? We oddly enough have a trade paperback that will be very relevant in a few seconds when we talk about it. But The Death of Superman: The Wake, which is going to basically deal with the funeral for Superman in that classic Death of Superman storyline from about holy cow, that was about 25 years ago. Oof. Harleen is a huge one. As you guys know, we sold out. I sold 5 times what my pre-orders were in the first hour on Harleen. It is the origin of Harley Quinn. It is an amazing comic by Sept and Sage. You know, like Sean Gordon Murphy, he is literally doing everything. He's writing, he's drawing, he's coloring. He's done both amazing covers on all of the issues. It is an $8 oversized black label magazine size edition. It is brilliant. I don't want to sell out again. Like, I got to up my orders significantly from #1. We're getting more #1s in later this week, mind you. So, you know, if you haven't grabbed it, you know, get your name down. We'll make sure to set one aside. But holy cow, this is a brilliant story.
I'm really enjoying it. It's it's a fantastic read. Origins of Harley, as I mentioned in the live stream on Wednesday. This one picks up where she is finally going to sit down with the Joker and be his therapist. And this is where I'm guessing she starts to go crazy. We get to see how her mind switches. You already got hints of that in issue 1, but this, I think, is going to be something to read. It's going to be a classic. And both covers on this are amazing. The interior artwork is fantastic.
Both by Steppen.
The man's doing it all by himself, other than, I think, the lettering. But both covers on this it's very hard to pick one.
I'm grabbing both. I'm just going to tell everyone. I'm buying 2 copies of the same book again.
There you go.
Black Label, it seems to be a thing.
Black Label is killing it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, both covers are amazing. Both feature Joker and Harley in different states of their lives. But, I mean, the thing I love about this is I feel that most Joker and Harley fans forget that Harley was a brilliant young woman with a doctorate who actually, I mean, you know, you didn't get hired at Arkham Asylum because you were already insane. You know, they don't want to put more insane people there. They got enough of it. So Harleen Quinzel it's Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a psychologist. And I was so hyped to see this story that issue #1, you're seeing just how intelligent this young woman is and how we really had to just, you know, kind of move to a scenario where we're passing drinks over, you know, I'm just going to hand it over there, where basically Harley, you know, goes from being the brilliant scientist that you rarely remember she is into the absolutely amazing, crazy, psychotic, you know, fitness-heavy ally of the Joker that she becomes. So it's fun stuff. I highly recommend you guys give it a shot. You will not find a better comic. 2 amazing, amazing covers on it. Get your pre-orders in now. If you didn't get #1, just tell me. We're going to get you #1 right now because you need it. You absolutely need it.
Speaking of Joker,
yeah,
we've got another Joker title that's coming up. Issue 1 of, what was the title of that? Joker Killer Smile?
Yeah, Joker Killer
Killer Smile. And is this another Black Label?
It will be Black Label by definition of age rating only, which we're slowly moving off Black Label being a, you know, like this is the high end, you know, version to now Black Label just means anything mature rating. And this will be one of those scenarios.
Yeah. So 3 things you need to know about this. Joker, Black Label, Jeff Lemire. Done. Just order it.
Yeah. Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, he's a really intense artist. Like, he's definitely one of those visceral, like, just throw it bloodily in your face guys. But
the covers look intense.
Yeah. 2 beautiful covers. Andrea Sorrentino doing one and Carrie Andrews doing an unfathomably amazing one that you guys, if you want it, you're going to need to tell me because there's no way I'm going to order enough. No matter how I can say 1,000 copies and people are going to go crazy over this damn Carrie Andrews cover. But yeah.
So to give you a background on this, since we were discussing Harley Quinn, this storyline, we might as well give you some details about it instead of just the 3 main selling points. Joker gets a new therapist. So it's a new character we haven't seen, the therapist. But the solicit at the very end teases possible new first appearance of someone who may be as sinister as the Joker based on his name, Mr. Smiles. Guess you got to order the book, read it to find out who Mr. Smiles is. This might be a massive print run just because people are ordering it like crazy in DC Black Label. But it's definitely going to be worth the read. It looks, you know, first off, they're just doing everything right when it comes to the Joker character and these Black Label books.
Better than that movie, I imagine, will be.
Which I don't think it's the Joker. But
yeah, no, we don't want to get into that movie. But no, I'm super hyped about this. It's exciting, whether Mr. Smile ends up being a brand new evil villain, which you need to get a copy if it is, or he just ends up being a psychological machination of this new psychologist, which I think it could be. I'm going to be excited either way. I think, I'm not a Joker fan, I will first off say. I am not a Joker fan, as weird as that is to say, being a shop owner that loves Batman. But, I'm hyped about this book. I don't care if you're a Joker fan or not. It's a horror, psychological horror, suspense, thriller, twisty, heavy Jeff Lemire thing, which is what he does great. That's what Gideon Falls was with Joker. I think this is going to blow up.
Definitely.
Yeah. So moving on through DC as we start to wrap up, I'm going to bring up that local comic shop day is going to have an exclusive hardcover for Deceased, the incredible zombie apocalypse story that Tom Taylor crafted. And, well, you can get the regular hardcover anywhere that has Batman zombified. Joker zombified is exclusive to local comic shop day and local comic shops like Knowhere.
And it is insane.
Yes.
This is a great looking cover.
Matina, you can never go wrong with him, one of the top artists in the industry right now. Yeah.
This might be the best cover they've done for that series yet in the zombie covers. And it's only what, $30, something like that.
Yeah, $30.
It's like the whole run, just in hardcover.
Yeah, 6 issues. Yeah, 6 issues.
Yeah.
Hardcover, limited edition. You only be able to get it for this limited time at local shops. When we're sold out, we're sold out. You might be able to get the Batman hardcover elsewhere, but that's not the cool one. It's not the rare one. Let's wrap up DC with Tales from the Dark Multiverse: Death of Superman.
You're gonna have to talk about this one.
So the Tales from the Dark Multiverse are really cool, fun storylines that deal with the fact that, as you saw in Dark Knight Metal, there are dark multiverses where things went wrong, people went evil, and they're doing a series of one-shots, each one taking a classic moment in DC history and showing how one of the multiverses went wrong with it. The Death of Superman was one of the most iconic moments of comics, I think, in the 1990s. Literally, I can't name another thing, Age of Apocalypse, like anything else that gets anywhere near the Death of Superman. And this takes the idea that after Superman died, Lois Lane, in her twisted anger and rage over Doomsday killing her beloved husband, becomes the new Eradicator. And, I'm hyped. This cover by Lee Weeks is just amazing.
The cool thing about the cover is, if you were like me or like anyone else in the 90s, you bought this book. Remember that black bag that had the red S dripping in blood? That is on the cover of this, but it's not the cover. It is part of Lois Lane's Superman suit, or Superwoman suit, or Eradicator in this case. But she's wearing the dripping black red S on her chest, and it is insane. It's a killer homage to that original release. I still have mine in the bag. I bought a second print, which I guess is supposed to be more rare.
Actually,
I bought the second print to read it.
Yeah.
And left the cheap, the massive overprint in the bag.
As much as I love keeping, I hate to say I have both. I bought the sealed bag, and kept the sealed bag, and then I got a sealed bag and popped it open because I like that little wristband you got,
There was a wristband in it? I didn't even know. Mine's still in the bag.
So there are 3 things in that bag aside from your Superman number 75. There's a little black, wraparound wristband to, honor the death of Superman. There's a Daily Planet news article, and there's a card actually. So it's really cool. If you want to see without opening it, because we have sealed bags here too. We have an open displayed one actually right next to our $1 comics in our kids section.
The bags don't hold up well at all.
Oh no,
not at all.
Yeah.
So hopefully the comic book did.
Yeah. But this comic I think will. I think this is going to be an exciting one. We'll cut through Dynamite a little quickly, just because it's going to be your traditional Dynamite books, hitting their 6th, 7th, 12th issues. Some exclusive variants, but yeah, make sure you check that on previousworld.com/final orders due. If you have a specific Red Sonja Vampirella cover you want, or Vengeance of Vampirella, just give us a heads up. We'll make sure you have that.
It's the Red Sonja Vampirella Betty Veronica.
Red Sonja Vampirella Betty and Veronica. You got to get that Archie tone in there. IDW is going to be a lot of the same. I will, point out Marvel Action Spider-Man is going to be Spider-Man. The whole Spider Crew: Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man against Venom. You might want that. Make sure you get your name in.
Star Trek Year 5.
Yeah, Star Trek Year 5 actually starts, I believe, the storyline by.
New storyline.
Yeah, that's the storyline with Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, who we should have out here for a signing soon.
Yeah, these are easy jump-on points every other issue. So, every odd number is the start of a new story, and they break it up. Basically, if you think about an episode being split into 2.5 hours, that's what you're getting out of the books.
Yeah. And Transformers Galaxies, which is the new Transformer series, is about to hit issue number 2. If you grab number 1 and love the hell out of it, which I think some of you did, make sure you get it on your pull list. Give us your heads up if you wanted issue number 2.
There's a massive collector group of people that collect Transformers. So
yeah. So moving on to Image Comics. Oh wow, Local Comic Shop Day is having a Super Dinosaur. This is actually, I just realized this for the first time right now.
I think that's open order too.
Yeah, that's gonna be open order unquestionably. And hey man, it's about to be an Amazon Prime series. Great for readers of all ages. I actually got to see some of the footage of that a while back. It looks awesome. Like that's definitely gonna be my son's favorite cartoon series.
It's mine already.
Yeah.
The big one, you're skipping it.
Yeah,
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead Alien. I don't know if any of you guys read this digitally a while back, but Brian K. Vaughan, the writer of Saga. Yeah, Saga. Brian K. Vaughan, one of the top writers in the comic industry, wrote an issue of Walking Dead, and it has never, ever been printed until this fall.
And you have to walk into a comic book store to get it.
Local Comic Shop Day stores only. This only at local comic shop day stores like us here at Knowhere. You're gonna need Brian K. Vaughan. It's Walking Dead's over, and we get one more issue of Walking Dead, and it's written by one of the best writers in the comic industry.
Yep.
Make sure you get that. This is gonna be a hot item. You need to give me your order requests.
Yeah, it's open order, but this will be a sought after book, and it's got a really sick wraparound. Technically, it's a wraparound cover, done brilliantly well.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I'm hyped. It's gonna be cool.
Middle West is great.
Yeah, Middle West.
Sharky's coming to an end.
Yeah. Let's move on to Marvel. This is the big one.
Marvel.
Yeah. First, let's talk a little about later printings. Once again, this is the time where I try my best to keep everything stocked so you guys can get your first printings a little bit late. But if we're running out for some reason, or more so you just want the amazing alternate cover that some of the later printings are, that's the thing you got to tell me. So please leave a comment, call us, come in, get your name down. Let's get you these alternate covers because Absolute Carnage #1 has a beautiful new 5th printing cover. Absolute Carnage #2 has a 3rd printing cover we can't even see yet on previewsworld.com/final orders due.
That's a one done by Bagley as well, so that must be like a, I don't know if his artwork's just not in or if they're just waiting to reveal because it might have some spoilerish.
Yeah. Absolute Carnage 3 gets a 2nd print.
2nd print, that one's amazing by Stegman. Yeah. Lethal Protectors #1 gets a 2nd print. Then also, and sorry, before we move on to the new print, let me say this. Not only is it a great way to catch up on reading these series if you missed it the first time through, but some of these 2nd printings, because of they'll have like character debuts on them that they didn't do it on the cover originally because they didn't want to spoil the book. So you get a first cover appearance of a character sometimes. The artwork is just amazing, but the collecting world, I'm from the old school, not the super old school because I obviously wasn't around during the golden age, but where first appearance was the first appearance and you wanted the first print, that's changing. Collectors are now collecting 2nd, 3rd, 4th prints, lower print runs. There's a whole lot of things that factor into that. So if you're into collectability as well, it is a good thing to think about these 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th printings because they get smaller each time, and sometimes the
print runs are rarer than 1 in 100 variants.
To draw people in, they put something insane on the cover, and it's just, or if you just like it for your personal collection, just to kind of keep it because of the cool artwork, that's a great thing.
I have 3 copies of Absolute Carnage #1. I'm contemplating buying that 5th printing because the cover is so beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Moving on though, Absolute Carnage Lethal Protectors #3 is up for final order cutoff. You get the cover A as well as the final one of the connecting variant. And then we go to a 3rd printing of Carnage vs. Deadpool #1. So you get reprints of all of them. That one that doesn't have the artwork done yet.
Yeah. It's Marcelo Ferreira. So, be a big one for you.
The big book is going to be The Amazing Mary Jane #1.
Yeah, that one is super exciting to me. If you've been watching any live stream we've done recently, there's 2 writers I absolutely love out there right now, Kelly Thompson and Leah Williams. These women are blowing up the industry as far as I'm concerned with some of the best written comics currently coming out from Marvel, Dynamite, etc. Leah doing an amazing job on Chastity at Dynamite. She's been doing the Gwenpool comic I love, and I cannot wait to see her take over Mary Jane because she is writing such powerful female characters.
And this story, it does pick up from Amazing Spider-Man #25. So it's one of the smaller arcs that they touched on in that, and they're spinning that out to create a Mary Jane series. But the attention definitely, there's tons of variants on this because it's a #1, and that's what Marvel does.
And with Mary Jane.
However, the Art Germ variant is absolutely mind-blowing.
1950s Hollywood-esque.
I had zero desire to pick up this book until I saw that cover. This one, for me, is a total cover buy, and the more and more they solicit this and I see interior artwork in the previews magazine, I'm actually glad that it looks like it's going to be, something worth reading as well. The artwork is on the interiors looks fantastic. I'm definitely going to get that Art Germ cover.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong also, like, big-time Spider-Man fans are always big fans of Humberto Ramos. Humberto Ramos is doing the main cover. So, tell me which cover you want. Let's get this on your pull list. It's going to be awesome. It's Spider-Man. Speaking of...
It's going to, to continue on that thread, we're going to move on to the next title in a second, but throughout all of the Marvel runs, pretty much for the rest of the month, because of the big Mary Jane push, they're going to be doing Mary Jane variants on most of the ongoing titles, so look for those as well.
Avengers 25 actually has one, so if you get a chance, pop over to previewsworld.com/final orders due and take a look at that one.
Yeah, that's on the final order cutoff for this week, and that's actually a Ghost Rider story with the Cosmic Ghost Rider in the 616.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Jason Aaron writing the basically Ghost Rider War.
I wish they kind of just got rid of the Avengers out of that story. Like, there's two different stories going along, and they're just like, give me more Ghost Rider. That said, we're going to move on along to Amazing Spider-Man Full Circle #1. This looks like it's going to be a one-shot, but written by Jonathan Hickman. Where do you know that name? Well, if you've been reading comic books forever, you know that name very well. If you're new to comic books, Powers of X, House of X, now Spider-Man. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just Hickman. Hickman is huge. That's a big one. I mean, House of X and Powers of 10 are some of the most explosive titles Marvel's had in decades, to be honest. But then on top of that, it's a full all-star team of Marvel's writers and artists. Nick Spencer is going to be on it, Chris Bachalo, Chris Sprouse. I mean, it is going to be a huge story that's going to have all sorts of guest stars. I mean, as if the creators weren't big enough names. Names like Nick Fury, Wolverine, Peter Porker. They're all going to be in this, It's a $10 supersized one-shot. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Marvel Comics 1000. I'm a little excited about it.
The way they drew Nick Fury, I've just now noticed this. The way they drew Nick Fury on the cover, that is vintage OG Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Old man eye patch Nick Fury in his classic, SHIELD outfit.
There's different variations of the Spider-Man. Actually, is that a black suit Spider-Man?
I see black suit Spider-Man, with that Nick Fury, which would make sense with the old eye patch Nick Fury. We're going to call him eye patch Nick Fury as opposed to get racial with this.
Eye patch. The new one has an eye patch.
Oh, valid.
What the heck?
Daddy Nick Fury, not Nick Fury Jr., Okay, white Nick Fury. Got it. All right. We got it.
Okay, sorry to totally sidetrack here. Because we're on Spider-Man, and I'm sure if you're a big Marvel fan and a Spider-Man fan, you are aware that the Spider-Man news dropped yesterday by both Sony and Marvel coming out to say that they finally got a deal done, and they will be bringing Spider-Man back to the MCU. One movie for Sony, which is going to be the Spider-Man 3 movie in July of 2021, and then he appears in a Marvel movie. There's tons of rumors, so I don't want to get into rumors, but one of the cool things that I just because of the Nick Fury thing on that I do believe has been confirmed by Feige is that in the What If series, he's going to be bringing back actually it wasn't the What If series. Sorry, the Doctor Strange movie, because you're going through different times and multiverses. They're going to bring back the original Dr. Fury from the original, the 616 universe, and he's going to appear in that movie. So that's going to be pretty cool. We're going to get 2 Nick Furies. Spider-Man's back. It's a good time for comic books.
Yeah, I am super hyped about this. I'm super excited about this. I mean, I felt that it was happening the entire time, though.
Yeah,
I knew that we knew we were going to get him back. Like, you can't do the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sony was just trying to get money, and so was Disney. But I'm happy, yeah. So moving on, Future Fight, the book that deals with all of the great one-shot characters from Agents of Atlas and one-shots that finally give us their origins, has got a new one. We're going to have Future Fight Luna Snow. She's the K-pop singer slash superhero out of Korea, South Korea, obviously. And I think it's going to be interesting. Alyssa Wong doing it. I mean, some beautiful, beautiful covers. Like In Hyuk Lee is doing the main cover. Who else do we have? Cokes is doing it. Sana Takeda, who's one of the top artists in Japan, doing it. I think that'll be a fun one for $5 standalone issue. Ghost Spider, you know, our great Spider Gwen is getting a Mary Jane cover for her third issue. So make sure you grab that. House of Powers, you know, are both getting a lot of of
reprints. The big book was going to be Immortal Hulk number 25, double print, double length,
double size,
lots and lots of covers on this one, so make sure you check out the page to look at this. Immortal Hulk is just a great read, so there's not much we need to say about that. Just check out the page,
your cover choices in,
pick out your covers, make sure you get those in.
Yeah, I like that Alex Ross one.
Yeah, speaking of the Hulk, Incredible Hulk facsimile number 1,
first appearance of the Hulk, at just a $5 or $4 price.
$4.
Yeah,
$3 too much. No, I'm just
yeah.
The facsimiles are reprints of the way they were printed originally, ads and all. So that's a great
1962, like, you know, early Marvel.
Let's see what else we got. And I'm sure everyone's getting tired of listening to us, so we're going to try to go through this and just kind of pick out the big ones.
Yeah, Marauders spinning out of House of Powers. Once again, remind you, get your House of Powers later printings in order, because I have everything in stock. Those later printings are if you individually want it, so I'm happy to get it. I know I'm probably going to grab one of each. But Marauders is a big one. That's going to be our oh god, what was Hellfire Club comic, basically. Yep. I mean, and reveal towards, you know, who the Red Queen is.
Red Queen.
I'm excited. You know, like, I don't want to get too into that just because that's very ruining of Powers of X newest issues.
If you missed out on Spider-Man number 1 by the J.J. Abrams and his son, they're doing reprints of that.
Yeah. So obviously, some great True Believers that are just amazing $1 books. You're going to get X Factor number 6, the first appearance of Apocalypse, and the first appearance of Quanon, who I can't even remember what issue of Uncanny X-Men that was, but you know, it's some fun ones for just $1. I mean, first Apocalypse. That's obviously a huge one.
X-Men number 17.
X-Men 17. Thank you. Look at him with an X-Men knowledge.
Nerd.
Yeah. Obviously, the Archie covers have a ton of covers. Archie versus Predator, etc. Make sure you go, once again, check out previewsworld.com/final orders due. Give me your cover preferences on that. Bad Reception's a big one. This has been the horror comic that is freaking Stacy out. I actually am really loving it too. Great B horror movie kind of idea. Stuck on an island with no cell phones as someone slaughtering your friends.
No cell phones. That's terrifying.
I know, yeah. So get your orders in if you want that.
Horror book for the millennial generation.
It really is. It introduced a new word to this entire store called nomophobia.
Scrolling too fast here?
No. Jamie Tyndall fan. Jamie Tyndall did the great White Widow comic. He's got a new one called I Make Boys Cry. It has a sexy female protagonist. It's got 3 stunning covers. They are priced. You can see the prices on previewsworld.com/final orders due. But if you want a specific cover, get it in. It is sexy as all hell. It's going to be awesome action. Chamie's artwork is amazing. I'm super hyped on this one. It is a cheesecake action book, like the 90s.
And those lenticular wraparounds are absolutely gorgeous.
They put high quality on those. Yeah. I think These Savage Shores is getting a gold edition trade paperback. It's going to be a nice high quality. It looks beautiful. I own all the issues. I'm going to make sure to get this because it's a rare limited edition local comic shop day exclusive trade. So make sure you get those numbers in so we can get you the right amount.
I'm probably going to pick up one too. And I not only own all the issues, I probably own every cover that came for issue 1. Including store variants all the way from nowhere to some shop in New York.
Oh, Escape Pod. Yeah, we love Escape Pod, actually, yeah. Money Shot. All right, this is the big one I got to talk about, actually. This is going to really, so we're on time. Sorry about that. Money Shot is absolutely amazing. It is basically the movie Idiocracy, you know, with a little bit of porn. It is the idea that we've reached a point eventually in the near future where our politicians hate science and are just so about fake news that they no longer want to fund scientific endeavors, experiments, or exploration. So a group of MIT students, they have developed what they call the Money Shot, a teleportation device that goes intergalactic. have basically found that they need money to fund their, experiments. So what's the best way to make money in this modern future? Porn. So yes, they decide they're going to go around to different planets, teleporting over there and filming porn with aliens. It is hilarious. It is really a social commentary. There is some, unquestionably mature and outright, pornographic scenes in it, but it is just a hilarious societal commentary, much in the way of Idiocracy. I am so in love with it. I've already read the first 2 issues. I can't express how much I love it. You need to read it. It's great. There are 2 main covers and 2 covers that are only $6, and I highly recommend both of them. They are black-bagged covers that have mature content artwork on the cover. One by Mirka Andolfo, artist of Unnatural, and then Tim Seeley, the artist of Hackslash. Both of them are going to be amazing. I'm going to buy all 4 covers. I freaking love this book.
Pig porn.
I would lay odds there is no pig on the cover of Mirka's cover. And Mirka's, God, her artwork is unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. What else we got?
Let's see. Resonant, Tank Girl, Unbound #1.
Unbound, new Xenoscope one. You want to talk a little bit about
New Xenoscope? The artwork on the cover B is actually, that's cover C.
Yeah, the cover C is
absolutely
amazing.
stunning.
I mean, all the covers are good. But Ralph Tedesco, one of the big mainstays over at Xenoscope.
So this is about a werewolf hunter. Excuse me, I need a drink of water, but I'll try to get through this. Named Lucas, that tracks down a mob outfit whose leader is a lichen. So you get werewolves, kind of the occult in this. Xenoscope with their stunning artwork.
Sexy female protagonist.
Absolutely. Xenoscope is definitely shifting to be more story-driven in a lot of these, more so than they have been, which is great. But their covers are still definitely classic.
They have to be, because we still don't know who the artist is of this comic.
Yeah, so the cover C is absolutely just like...
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Check it out.
Keith Garvey.
Definitely put in your orders.
Yeah, and then the final one I think we're going to wrap on.
White Widow?
White Widow. White Widow is finally getting all of the next issues resolicited. So now's your chance to get these orders in. Has some incredibly sexy Jamie Tyndall covers. Yeah, issues 3, 4, and 5 all need to get my orders in now. I'm super hyped. I mean, it's Jamie Tyndall.
Tons of covers. All of them absolutely gorgeous.
Female Venom Spider-Man.
Are killer. The lenticulars cost more, but they're absolutely amazing.
Worth every dime.
When you see them, I've never seen a lenticular done as well as these White Widow ones.
So that's the big comics that are due. Our final orders are due this Monday. Make sure you get those orders in before 8 p.m. Monday Pacific Standard Time. We're very thankful for you guys watching and putting up with us for a whole, what was that, 40 minutes? 50 minutes? Oh, my God, yeah. So thank you all. We'll try and cut it down to shorter next time. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.